Hello everyone on this here planet Earth and or in the outer reaches of the galaxy. I'm your neighborhood nerd Sludgy, and as most of you know, near the end of Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, things go a bit off the rails from the original plot established in Sun and Moon. The long story short, you end up fighting Ultra Necrozma. The fight that takes place is the best fight in the entire Pokemon series. Why? Because the music is great. I'm joking, though the music is great. Ultra Necrozma has collectively been considered one of the hardest fights in the modern Pokemon games. And before you said, well, I beat Ultra Necrozma on my first try, well, you probably knew it was coming or had an overleveled team. Because for anyone that played the game blind and didn't overlevel, I think we can agree that the fight takes several attempts to beat. But despite the challenge of it, I believe we need more Ultra Necrozma-esque fights. Actually, the challenge is exactly why I find it to be the perfect fight and why we need more bosses like Ultra Necrozma. Let me explain. And because I don't want to consistently say Ultra Necrozma over and over again, I may refer to him as UN sometimes. Okay, now time to explain. Usually when you think of a boss in Pokemon, you think of a gym leader, an evil team leader, or the Elite Four or champion. These are people that you're fighting, though. Other trainers using Pokemon just like you. Sure, there are legendary fights, but usually you're trying to catch it and not kill it. And recently catching legendaries has been stupidly easy. But UN is different. It's a single Pokemon that you are trying to kill, and it can very easily outspeed and then one-shot every member of your team. And this is amazing. Throughout the game, you hear the Ultra Recon Squad refer to Necrozma as the Blinding One, or talk about him like he's an all-powerful being. And it's a really good build-up for the fight. Because when you fight it for the first time and see it one-shot every member of your team, it's terrifying. But this is good because 7 attempts later, when you finally manage to beat it, you feel accomplished and proud because you finally managed to overcome an actual challenge in these games. Pokemon games, while fun, never gives me, at least, a challenge that takes time and skill to beat. In a normal run, that is. Sure, I feel good when I beat the game, but there's never a challenge at some point in the adventure that is a genuine struggle to get through. That is until Ultra Sun and Moon came around with the Ultra Necrozma fight. Pokemon games aren't usually challenging. We can all agree on this. But it's because they need to cater to all age groups, including kids that have never picked up a controller before. Which is why a difficulty system would be amazing. Come on, Game Freak. But this Necrozma battle is at the end of the game. Anyone new to Pokemon games in general now understand how everything works if they got through the entire game. The UN fight is basically the last thing you do before fighting the Elite Four. And this is perfect placement because not only is it the climax of the game, but it can also be as challenging as it needs to be because they don't need to worry about people that don't know how an RPG system works. Now, as I've been talking about placement and the climax at the end of the game, I'm sure another fight may come to mind to most people. The Eternamax Eternatus fight. And let me just tell you no. One of these fights is a perfect fight that takes skill and strategy. The other is a glorified cutscene. The Eternamax fight is a 4v1. And you have overpowered legendaries on your team that do all the work. This isn't a challenge, this is a cutscene. So let's fix the Eternamax fight. I think the placement is perfect, as it literally interrupts the final battle of the game, but now we need to take everything else Necrozma has and give it to Eternatus. First, we need to add more about the devastating creature that caused the Darkest Day and all those Sonya lore dumps for the build-up to the fight. Then we need to make the actual fight itself more interesting. Maybe instead of the legendaries coming down and helping you, basically destroying the boss on their own, they shine down their epic light on you and give you the power to Gigantamax your starter, instead of making the Gigantamaxes in the DLC. Then with your new Gigantamax Pokemon, you 1v1 Eternatus, possibly use a few times, then save the world based on your own wits. Pokemon games can be easy. Most of the time they are easy. And a lot of the times it can be upsetting when even at the very end of the game there isn't much of a challenge at all. But Game Freak has a solution to the problem that they used once, then when the next game came around, they ruined it. Ultra Necrozma should be the standard for endgame Pokemon bosses, and hopefully Game Freak will realize this at some point soon.